I just made a video where I made Beyond Meat quite a bit cheaper at home. And I thought, what's something that everybody would like a little bit cheaper? The Impossible Chicken Nuggets. Now, the Impossible Chicken Nuggets, according to a test that I did, are the chicken nuggets that meat eaters rate to taste most like real chicken. So let's make a really good vegan chicken nugget at home, just like the Impossible Nugget, but it's gonna be quite a bit cheaper. So first, we need to start off with some TVP. You know TVP, I use it all the time. It's textured vegetable protein, but we're not gonna be using TVP how it is. It's too much of a big chunk. As you can see here, the normal size chunk of TVP is quite large compared to like some of the smaller chunks. We want it to be the smaller chunk. It's chicken. It's not like a ground beef. So to do that, we're just going to throw our textured vegetable protein into a small food processor, and we're just going to quickly grind it up. Now, you can also crush it if you like, but we just want to make sure that it's all a very small flake. Once we have that small flake, we're just going to toss it into a bowl and then mix in the rest of our ingredients, which includes some wheat gluten, yeast extract, which is just, nutritional yeast. My favorite ingredient, methyl cellulose. I'll leave a link in the description below for the Amazon store where you could buy it. Some food starch. Now, for the food starch here, we're going to be using potato starch. Now, this one you don't have to use. You can also use arrowroot starch. That works pretty well. My next ingredient that I really love, which is not part of the Impossible label, but I think it really plays an important role, mushroom extract or mushroom seasoning. So now we're just going to add just a touch of sugar. That's going to also help along with some of these flavors. And speaking of flavors, here's some onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and a screenshot area where you can see the exact measurements and the prices of everything. I think we're doing good so far. Now at this point, you just want to whisk up your dry ingredients and then pour in some cold water. This is going to be about a cup of cold water here. Now this mixture is not going to be super wet. We do want to make sure that we're mixing it really well, which is kind of like kneading the gluten. Now we don't want to knead it too much. We're going to use the autolyze method to allow the gluten to kind of form its own bonds. There's not a whole lot of gluten in this, but there is enough to where there is going to be some gluten density. That's going to make a difference. Once you have this mixed in, we're just going to throw a cover on it and toss it in the fridge. Now it's been about 15-20 minutes, and now we need to add the fat to the chicken. Now I commonly skip this step. I usually just add oil kind of directly into the nugget mixture, but I feel that Impossible is most likely doing a fat combination similar to how we make our Beyond Beef or our other, like when we did the Impossible Burger recreation. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do that again. I've done it in plenty of videos. I'm just going to leave a link in the description below to the last video where I made this, which was just like 2 videos ago. This is what was left over from that. Now, normally when we make a full plank of the fat, I use about a quarter of that mixture for each burger. That gives you about a 20% fat per burger, which is kind of more realistic to your actual meat burgers. Here, we're going to be using a quarter of that quarter, so an eighth. That's going to give us about 10% fat, but a lot of that's actually going to go away, and I'll show you that in a minute too. Now, I know this sounds odd, but I'm kneading this by hands because I want the fat mixture to get more evenly distributed throughout the chicken, the textured proteins. Now, normally when you're making the burgers, you want those big giant chunks, but with the chicken, you just want it to be mixed in really well. Now, at this point, we're just going to grab a little bit of the chicken and then start, forming nuggets. Now, we just want these to be kind of like bite-sized nuggets. Remember, you're going to add some breading to these a little bit later, so they're going to get a little bit bigger, but you want them to be healthy size. So just form your nuggets, and we're going to make, probably, 2 dozen of them. I'm not exactly sure. And there it is. Boom. It actually made 25 of them. So we're just going to be throwing these on a sheet pan. I'm going to toss them in the freezer until they freeze fairly firm before we go on to the next step. So a lot of you probably don't know this, but I was a heavy smoker for over 18 years. And I'm talking like sometimes for a few years, 2 packs a day. Now, when I met Monica, she was the inspiration for me quitting. I eventually did it, and it was really hard, and that's why I wanted to tell you about today's sponsor, Fume. Fume is a natural inhaler designed for a better, safer, and natural way to quit cigarettes. It's a no smoke, no vape, no nicotine replacement for the hand-to-mouth habit of smoking. So Fume handcrafts these wooden inhalers, and they use these cores infused with plant oils that are studied to curb cravings. They have flavors like peppermint and Concord with minty notes to simulate those menthol cigarettes, and other flavors like cozy chai and lemonberry bliss for like a sweeter experience. And all of their flavors are 100% natural, no harmful chemicals, no artificial flavors, and absolutely no nicotine. I gave Fume to one of my good friends who has smoked probably just as long or longer than I did, and he was telling me that it's really helped with their cravings. I'm really hoping they quit, and I think this is going to be a big difference. So whether you're a smoker or ex-smoker that's still struggling with cravings, Fume is the perfect tool for you. Head to breathefume.com/SauceStache and use promo code SauceStache to save 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your entire order when you head to breathefum.com/SauceStache and use code SauceStache. Fume, thanks for sponsoring today's video and providing a really great tool for helping people quit smoking. Quitting smoking has changed my life, and I know if you're a smoker, it will change your life too. Now, it's been about 20 minutes, so we're going to steam our chicken first. This is going to be a 2-part cooking process. Now, the cool thing with methyl cellulose is it firms when you cook it. When you cook it a second time, it gets even firmer, which is going to really help with the realistic texture of chicken. Once they're fully steamed after about 20 or 30 minutes, we're just going to pull them out. We're going to toss them into a bowl. I'm going to toss them with just a little bit of olive oil, and then we're going to toss them in the fridge to cool down. We want them to be cool before we handle them again. Now, the thing with the methyl cellulose is when it cools, they are going to get just a little softer, but they're never going to go back to that super soft soaked state. So that's why we're gonna use the oil, so that way they don't stick together. Now, while we're waiting for those to cool, let's make our batter with some flour, salt, dried thyme, paprika, a lot of paprika, ginger, onion, garlic, and ground black pepper. Now, here's the prices and the amounts right here. Go ahead and whisk that up, and now we're gonna pull out our cooled chicken. Now, for the cooled chicken, we're just gonna wanna cover those in a little bit of plant milk, not much, just enough to cover them. I'm using some soy milk. Then we're gonna toss in just a sprinkle of lemon juice, mix that up, and then just start battering. We're gonna do a double batter, so throw these all into the dry flour mixture, make sure they're coated, let them out on a rack to dry, back into the milk mixture, back into the dry mixture. Now let's fry them. Fill a deep well pan up with some oil, bring it up to heat about 365 degrees. Toss in your chicken and let them fry. You're gonna fry about for 7 minutes or so. They're gonna be nice and like brown, kind of dark brown. Now I'm gonna make my very basic sauce that I like to make. It's just like a basic honey mustard without the honey. It's just gonna be some like a little bit of maple syrup, some agave, and some mustard. Now I'm telling you, these look incredible. I can't wait to taste them. But first, our total price came in at $2.29 for a bag of Impossible chicken. That's incredible, under $3. So I am super stoked about these. We came in way cheaper, way cheaper. And I have such a good feeling. I mean, right off the bat, you can tell it's, oh God, it is hot. A firm chicken nugget-like texture. I mean, just look at the texture on these. Now, for everybody that watches normally and is excited for Monica's opinion, she's not here right now. Oh my God, but I wish she was, because these are unbelievable. These are the best chicken nuggets I've ever made. Wow. So I just followed along with like the ingredients label of the Impossible nugget, and that worked out, like really worked out. These are super chickeny. I couldn't be any happier with these. So this made about 1.5 pounds of the nuggets, which is actually about 2 packages. So once you get all of the ingredients, which does cost a little bit, you're gonna be able to make tons of these. Like 1 bag of that TVP will be able to make pounds of meat and pounds of chicken. I mean, I've had that 1 bag for so long, and you know how many recipes I've made. It's incredible. And so I just can't get over these and how good they are, and really how close I got to the actual product of the Impossible nuggets. To me, if I were served these, I would have been blown away just as much as I was the very first time I tried the Impossible nuggets. I can't wait till you try these.